November 7, 1895, the human body was still a locked room. Doctors could listen to it, touch it, press against it, and when there was no other choice, cut it open. But they could not see what was hidden beneath the skin. A broken bone could be suspected from pain, swelling, and shape. A bullet inside the body might be found by probing, by experience, or by luck. The body could describe its suffering, but it could not reveal its secrets. Then, one night, a screen began to glow in a dark laboratory. No visible light was reaching it. Something invisible was moving through the room, and it was about to change medicine forever. In late 19th century Germany, physicist Wilhelm Conrad Röntgen was studying cathode rays. His equipment looked nothing like a modern scanner. It was a glass vacuum tube connected to a powerful electrical current. Scientists already knew that the tube could create strange glows. Röntgen wanted to study what happened when those rays were trapped inside it, so he covered the tube with thick black cardboard. The light from the glass disappeared, but several feet away, a fluorescent screen still flickered. That should not have happened. Röntgen switched the current off. The glow vanished. He switched it on. The glow returned. Something had escaped the covered tube, crossed the laboratory, and struck the screen. It could pass through cardboard. It moved through books and pieces of wood. Thin metal slowed it less than expected. Dense materials blocked more of it. Then Röntgen placed his hand between the tube and the screen. For the first time, he saw a dark outline of his own bones moving inside the shadow of his flesh. This was not an ordinary photograph. It was an image of something no living person had ever been able to see this way before. Röntgen did not rush to announce it. For weeks, he worked almost in isolation. He repeated the experiment, changed the distance, tested different materials, and recorded what the unknown rays could penetrate. He called them X-rays. In mathematics, X represented the unknown, and that was exactly what these rays were. They traveled in straight lines. They passed through soft tissue more easily than bone or metal. They could affect photographic plates, leaving behind permanent shadows of objects hidden from ordinary sight. Before Christmas, Röntgen asked his wife, Anna Bertha, to place her hand between the tube and a photographic plate. The exposure took far longer than a modern X-ray. When the plate was developed, the result looked almost impossible. Her fingers appeared as pale bones. The surrounding flesh was faint and ghost-like. Her wedding ring formed a dark circle around one finger. It was intimate, unsettling, and instantly understandable. The image did not need a scientific explanation. Anyone could look at it and realize that the boundary between the outside and inside of the body had been broken. On December 28, 1895, Röntgen submitted a paper describing a new kind of rays. News spread with extraordinary speed. Newspapers printed the skeletal hand. Scientists repeated the experiment. Doctors immediately understood what it could mean. For centuries, treating internal injuries had depended on indirect signs. Now a physician could search for a fracture without opening the body. A surgeon could locate a bullet or a piece of metal before making the first cut. Within weeks, X-rays were being tested in medical cases. But the new technology also created confusion. The public imagined machines that could see through clothing, walls, and private spaces. Advertisements promised impossible powers. X-ray vision entered jokes, cartoons, and popular culture. And because the rays were invisible, their danger was invisible too. Early operators often exposed themselves and their patients for long periods. Some suffered burns, damaged tissue, and illnesses before the risks of repeated radiation became clear. The machine that allowed doctors to see without cutting could also injure without warning. Over time, exposure became shorter. Equipment became more controlled. Protective shielding and safety procedures developed. X-ray imaging spread from experimental laboratories into hospitals, dental clinics, battlefields, airports, and industrial inspection. It changed more than diagnosis. It changed the relationship between evidence and the human body. Pain no longer had to be translated only through words. A hidden fracture could leave an image. A swallowed object could be located. A lung could reveal patterns of disease. The interior of the body became something that could be recorded, compared, stored, and shown to another doctor. Later, technologies would extend that idea. Computed tomography would combine many X-ray measurements to create cross-sectional images. Digital systems would replace photographic plates. Machines would become faster, sharper, and more precise. But the central transformation began in that dark room. A covered glass tube, a screen glowing when it should have remained dark, and a scientist who did not dismiss the impossible result. Röntgen received the first Nobel Prize in Physics in 1901. He did not patent the discovery. He believed its benefits should remain available to the world. Today, X-rays are so ordinary that their original strangeness is easy to forget. A patient enters a room. A technician positions the body. For a fraction of a second, invisible radiation passes through skin, and a hidden structure appears on a screen. But on November 7, 1895, none of that existed. The body was still visually sealed. Doctors could hear its sounds, feel its surface, and study the symptoms it produced. They could not simply look inside. One day later, a faint glow in a dark laboratory opened the human body without a blade, and the invisible became evidence.